Thanks for joining me for another neck reset, binding repair, and finish repair video. I'm Scotty D, and this is a 1951 Epiphone Deluxe Regent, serial number 60259. It's made of beautiful hard maple, figured and bird's-eyed all over the place. Let's get you some. We'll zoom in so you can see the binding problems. And I can't wait for you guys to hear these New York pickups. Now, this is in a time before Epiphone was bought by Gibson and moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Here's a binding pulling away from the cutaway. It's like this on several areas on the guitar. And after Gibson bought Epiphone, Guild guitars actually had just come out, and we're talking early to mid 50s, and a lot of these craftsmen that built these beautiful guitars stayed in New York and went to work for Guild. Not because Michigan was such a bad place or anything in the 50s, but because why would you want to leave your family and friends in the Long Island for some Midwestern farm town called Kalamazoo, where they grew cabbage? Here's another spot here, and there's another spot there. Let's look here. Some of this wood may have come from Michigan. Michigan's known for having some pretty good bird's eye maple, quilted and bird's eye. See that? This hard rock maple, the bird's eye, the quilted, whatever you want to call it, figured, fiddleback, it all comes from the same tree as they get the sap and the syrup from. And the bird's eye part of it is due to a disease that the tree gets. I believe it hardens the wood when it gets this disease. But this wrinkling or figuring is from compression, from really heavy old trees collapsing down and shrinking at the trunk. It's a strange phenomenon. We'll get to the neck reset in a minute, but hold tight. We're going to check out these pickups. We're going to look at the trajectory of the neck and see how it actually hits the pickup. That shows you that it needs a neck reset. We need to get that strings down for lower action, and the action, by the way, is here at the 12th fret on the bass side at 9/64ths and the treble side at 8/64ths. That's 5 millimeters and 4 millimeters. So it's far too high. We'll get that down when we're done. We'll plug it in to hear the magic of these pickups. Uh-oh. Let me tighten that baby. Let me get out Jack the Gripper. So this guitar is so old, rock and roll wasn't even a thing yet. Jazz was the thing. That guitar players were into jazz music. All right. Weird thing about the switch is that it's linear. I mean, it doesn't have notches in it. It's just a slider. Let's see if we can get this cleaned up a skosh here. Come back with my frequency. Oh no, guys, look what I just noticed. It's broken. It's barely hanging on by a thread. It's got cracks on both sides. Okay, good news. All Parts has it. TP-0433. Alright, man. I'm gonna check this out.
Okay, I got the waist area done on the bass side, back. You'll notice over there we got a hockey puck. It's down right below the delaminated binding. There's a hockey puck right there.
So what I was hearing earlier is that the bridge pickup sounds really wimpy. The neck pickup sounds great to me. I want to see how this thing's wired up. And I'm thinking about removing the neck pickup from the circuit so that it's out of the way during the neck reset process. Looks like they have soldered some connectors here and covered it with electrical tape. And real thin wires. We'll go inside with the endoscope and try to get a feel for where these other wires go. It looks like the pickup wires all go right to the switch. And then another weird thing, the tone pot was the one that was most scratchy, and it looks like it's a double pot. It's a stacked variable resistor. Is that it? Can you see? There's two of them. Like one of them's piggybacked on top of the other. There. Look at that. So I have to get in there and clean both of them. Both of the wipers. I'll start removing the frets and gaining some access holes or drilling some holes so we can access the void behind the dovetail. The guitar neck has a male dovetail, and the body has the female side of the dovetail. And in between, there's a little void behind it, most likely. I've never seen one of these necks off. I should have asked Doug Proper to take a picture of one and send it to me. Would have helped a lot. But next time for sure. But if any of you are out there starting a neck reset on one of these, you'll have my video as a reference, which is the whole reason I'm doing this. Unlike a lot of YouTubers, I don't do this for views and likes. I do this for you guys that are working on your guitars. You know, a lot of these neck reset videos, I'm the first one to post a particular model, make, or year. Okay, right here you can see that there's the void has been opened up. That guitar string just flops right in there. Typically I'm about 10 millimeters from the edge. 10 to 12. Let's say 11 millimeters. Shoot for 11 millimeters. You'll find it. You'll tell when you break on through to the other side. You'll hear that sound. So, I think I'll go at it with steam. I like to loosen things up with a little bit of boiling hot water. Just to get things going. So I got to start changing my ways with all this. It worked great on acoustic guitars lately, but these couple of arch tops that are the first time I've ever done this has caused a little delamination, which I don't like. It's a lot of extra work to fix that cosmetically. It's a challenge. I'm going to widen the hole a little bit for the proper diameter for my steam needle. I moved everything down to the garage now. Where we can spray water all over the place with no worry. See, too much water. When all that water's just sitting there down next to the bottom of that dovetail, that's when we get that delamination. Might be best with something like this, maybe to lay it on its side, or be weary of shooting water in there with a syringe like I did. Maybe a dry heat is best for these types of things. Well, I decided to halt operations for a few days because in that last segment when you heard that cracking sound, that was the back popping loose from the lining here, mostly around the cutaway, and totally detached from the neck block. Never had that happen before. I was just putting pressure on the heel with the jig, and it popped loose. So I happened to be texting that day with Doug Proper, who is seen a lot of archtop guitars. He's almost the archtop specialist. He's in the Bedford Hills, New York, which is near where this guitar was made. He's been, doing this for 30 plus years. And he said, yeah, I think you should glue everything back together before you go pulling that neck, or trying to pull it again. So the way I did it was I got a long syringe, it's actually a Spinal Tap needle that Doug sent me, and filled it with hot hide glue, really watered down. Those long needles don't like to suck up, thick viscosity glues. Anyways, I had to work through this pickup hole and got it all down in there and clamped it up and let it rest for 4 days. So I strung it back up to see if anything changed, and this is where we're at. So anyways, sometimes when you glue up a neck block to the back, you can change the geometry a little bit. So I wanted to string it back up. And now that the electronics are all cleaned up and stuff too, you can hear. I had to pull that tone pot up closer to the F-hole so I could spray in some cleaner and then move it back over. It actually worked, because it's that double pot. That was so weird. I don't know why that is. I'm learning as I go, guys. I don't know what's going on. The Zephyr! It's crazy! More crazy experimental stuff here. The binding is pulled away so far and it's so hard and brittle. I tried heating it up like I did on the other side, pressing it back into the waist area, but it won't go. So I'm cutting through. Instead of replacing all the vintage binding, I'm just gonna cut it, glue it down, and then fill in the little cut area. It's like an 1/8 of an inch little spot that I have to fill in with CA glue tinted white. I'll show you how I can do that. Most customers, most guys that have these want to keep everything as original as possible. So it's going to be all original binding with a couple little touch-ups. I'll heat it up a little bit before I glue it back down with Titebond 3. That proprietary polymer. Titebond 3 for you and me. Gotta wipe out that squeeze out. Wipe it up. Squeeze. Stretch. Stumax brown binding tape with Titebond 3. We'll fill in the void with CA glue, Glue Boost, that non-blushing accelerator. We'll let it sit overnight. Now we're going to pull that neck. The spool clamps are going to hold the back in place. Even if I get a little rough with it, it won't delaminate again with these spool clamps holding it all in place. Here I am with that water again. Mistake. But just on these laminated necks, do as I say, don't do as I do. I figured, I would try to hold it upright so that the water isn't seeping into the laminated neck joint. Maybe it'll just sit down on the neck block side of the dovetail and the steam will go upwards into the neck. I'm going crazy with all this water. Why am I doing that? Probably because it's fighting me. Well, since it's being very stubborn, I'm going to fasten a piece of wood to the top of these spools, and then the bar clamp is pressing on the wood and on the heel cap. So I'm applying force without stressing out the back lamination joint. And voila, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good Lord, that was a ton of hide glue. Okay, notice the Glad press and seal over the neck pickup. That's how I dealt with it. Preventing water from getting on the pickup and stuff. And with the spool clamp method, I didn't have to worry about pickup being in the way. Like with the Stumac neck removal jig, it totally sits over where that pickup was, which was a bit of an obstacle before when I was using steam and trying to use their jig. But the homemade jig worked for this, and I have to credit Crimson Guitars for that. I watched him pull the neck on a Chet Atkins Gretsch, the old 6120 from the 50s, and he used that type of method, so I stole that from him. Thank you, Crimson Man. Mr. Crimson.
Okay, well, I found one of my colleagues at the Luth Group that's going to laser engrave the new tailpiece with the freaking Satal logo. He's going to do his best. And he has experience, so I trust him. I'm going to ship this to him. Okay, and it's going up to the Baltimore, Maryland area. It's going to Chip Tate. Guys, if you're in the Baltimore area and you need a guitar tech, look up Brooklyn Fretworks. And in addition to the tailpieces, I'm going to be sending him some dibutyl phthalate so he can get practicing on his binding drop fill repairs. And also I'm going to be sending him some of the West Systems adhesive fillers. I'm going to send him the 406 colloidal silica and the 405 filleting blend. So that will definitely keep him. Oh, and Harpeth guitar stickers and picks. He'll love those. Yeah. And I'll mail it off to him.
So while we're waiting for Chip to work his magic on the tailpiece, I'll post this video and we'll work on part 2 for next week. How about that? I'll finish with my binding repairs. And next week's video, we'll reset the neck. We'll get the tailpiece back. We'll string it up. And it should look good and sound good and play beautiful. Thanks for watching. I hope to catch you next time. And we'll see you soon. Late.